Doggy Daycare Center in Manchester, this is over in England, put together their own nativity scene with dogs in costumes. All part of the important play there with Mary, Joseph, baby Jesus, and Angel Gabriel, and a lamb. So cute. That will do it for us on this Tuesday. Hope you have a great rest of your day. See you again tomorrow. All Day starts now.
The music gets me going. I love that. Welcome to All Day on this, what is this, Tuesday now. Rob Wilson in for Amy Hockert again today. She's taking some holiday time off. Here is what is on tap today. Wrong way. It's over there. Sorry, I get reversed here. It is the day before Christmas Eve. Of course, a lot of people hitting the road for holiday plans, and things look pretty smooth sailing out there so far. We're going to be hearing from meteorologist Keith Marler here in just a minute for your holiday travel forecast or festivities forecast, whatever the forecast you need, driving, flying, Christmas caroling, whatever it is. We're going to hear from Keith in a moment. Also, just a little bit ago, earlier this morning, Governor Walz and local leaders, a faith leader, mayors, public safety director, all coming together to talk about public safety regarding federal operations continuing in the Twin Cities that they anticipate, they don't know, but anticipate might be ramping up over the holidays. Jim Rich is up in Duluth, his hometown area, and he's there for good reason because it is a great hockey night here. He's going to have a preview of the World Junior Championships. Of course, that tournament gets underway officially on Friday at Grand Casino Arena and 3M Arena at Mariucci, but the pre-tournament's already been underway for a couple of weeks here. Big game tonight because it's the gold medal game from last year. It's a rematch between Team USA and Finland, so you know that even though it doesn't count, Finland's going to be looking for a little revenge here on Team USA. And just before 1 o'clock, we're going to hear from Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell, preparing to host the Lions on Christmas Day that afternoon. And, you know, it doesn't mean much for the Vikings, except, you know, we want to see further development of this team and the quarterback. And we might have an update on J.J. McCarthy's health, hurt his hand, but also we could definitely be playing spoilers to the Lions, which would help the Packers. So I don't know how you feel about all that, but we're going to be hearing from Kevin O'Connell here a little bit before noon. We'll bring you that live. And finally, the holidays can be, of course, sometimes joyous, but sometimes there might be some animosity arising around the dinner conversations, with some difficult conversations with family members. If politics come up over the Christmas dinner, why getting through that, though, might mean you need to be a better listener rather than a talker. We will talk with somebody who can explain how to listen. All right, first, let's talk about what's on everybody's mind. Beautiful day out there, just below freezing right now. Sun's out, it's great. It's Christmas time, it's the weather. If you're driving, flying somewhere, or simply staying home, it's going to be important. Keith Marler taking a look at what conditions will be like, and spoiler alert, they're pretty good.
Well, we've got ourselves some sunshine and a few little light clouds streaming on by as we head through the afternoon. These clouds kind of coming and going of a thin nature, a little veil, but we've had a cold front roll through the area, kind of taking us off of those upper 30s and lower 40s for parts of southern Minnesota that we had yesterday. In the metro, we cleared a 39-degree day, and we'll keep it in the upper 20s and lower 30s for the day today, dropping about 7 or 8 degrees from where we were yesterday, depending on location. Now, yesterday we had our 39, and that was mild enough, but we were actually one of the cool spots across the nation still. It's to be expected, but you go down to Des Moines, that's a big difference with that 53-degree temperature. 59 in Lincoln, 59, nearly 60 in Kansas City. And, of course, all of the heat, legitimate heat for this time of year. 70s in Denver, their second warmest day in December ever. Obviously shattering some records there. The first warmest day was obviously the first week of December, but this late in December especially, that 76 in Denver, just impressive. They're going to be up into the 60s probably for Christmas. Widespread temperatures in the 80s all across Texas in particular. And got a little action going on either coastline as we go on into our holiday. I'll have more on that in just a second. But in the meantime, for today, we look at how things are going. Warmth continues to build across the central part of the U.S. We have our cold front that's moving through our neck of the woods for today, but relatively quiet quiet with that. No real moisture. All the moisture goes across the East Coast. So if early travelers heading to the East Coast today, we look at all sorts of winter weather advisories in place from Pennsylvania up through New England with some snow showers up across New England. This will still be a little bit of an issue for tomorrow as well. Even at Christmas, another little clipper system bringing some snow showers across New England. So there'll be some travel hiccups in that neck of the woods heading into Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And then area of low pressure coming ashore here, just bringing in the moisture. The old moisture plume just continues to pound later on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Flash flood emergencies have been issued for Wednesday and Thursday. Those are the two holiday days right there, and several inches of rain could be falling across Southern California in those days. Multiple feet of snow in the way high elevations of the mountains. But it's all about that rain. It's going to cause some major trouble across parts of Southern California in particular heading into the Christmas holiday. For us, we're on the other side of that cold front, so we're reinforcing that cooler feel, counterbalanced by that brighter sunshine that we have today, giving us kind of steady temperatures in these lower 30s for the better part of the day today. Temperatures hover around a thaw, plus or minus 32 as we go on into the better part of the afternoon. Sunshine, a few clouds, northwest winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. As we look ahead on that 7-day forecast, we'll go for around mid-30s for tomorrow. Increasing cloud cover though tonight and into tomorrow. Pretty quiet for travelers overall, and into Christmas Day, pretty much the same thing. 38 degrees for a high day side, although by Christmas Eve night we do run into the chance for a little clipper riding on by, bringing us up. Could be just rain if we hold above freezing, but a wintry mix to some light snow to the north. We'll keep an eye on that. It doesn't look like a lot of moisture overall. But as we look broadly across the country for travelers on Christmas Day, if you're expecting people or you're doing a little driving, other than that little clipper system that'll dive into the evening and overnight, pretty quiet for drivers across the upper Midwest until you move out. Chicago's going to see some snow at 43 for some flyers, but Kansas City, St. Louis, upper 60s to lower 70s. That heat's really going to build. Talk about a mild Christmas. Denver flirty with 70 on Christmas Day. I'd take that back around 70. 80s across Texas, 70s all the way through the deep south. And again, those snow showers, you can see that little train of colder air and that snow from Chicago over through the Great Lakes, over toward rain and snow from New York back through Boston. And of course, just buckets and buckets of rain all across the West Coast in particular, with those flash flood emergencies that are in play. Our little baby system might cause some hiccups. We'll keep an eye there, but all that moisture looks very light in particular. Then mostly cloudy, upper 30s to near 40 on Friday and Saturday for us. And then we get cold. A little chance for some very light snow Saturday night is part of a cold front, but it's more about the power of the cold than any moisture it might bring with us at the moment. We're talking about highs only in the teens as we head on into Sunday and Monday of next week.
Woof, big drop there, but pretty nice for this for the holidays here. Keith couldn't join us in the studio, in the all-day studio, because he said he had to go rehearse for all that caroling he plans to do. I don't know, I just made that up. All right, in other news today, happening this morning, Governor Tim Walz joined with community leaders, including the mayors of Minneapolis and St. Paul, to discuss federal immigration enforcement efforts in Minnesota, which have been ongoing. It's been called Operation Metro Surge. It's certainly brought a lot of talk from both sides here about what's happening, and a lot of uncertainty, certainly, surrounding some of the operations targeting Minnesota communities. The governor calling this a matter of public safety. Here now is a pretty lengthy portion of that press conference today, which took place at Shiloh Temple in Minneapolis.
When I turn on a clip and watching someone, he says he's an ICE agent, but he's wearing a mask and we have no communication with him, is dragging a pregnant woman by her arms down the street, it was elected officials who were standing there saying, this is wrong. This is not who we are. So to those elected officials, thank you. Let's be very clear here, not to confuse issues. In Minnesota, we take public safety very seriously. Right. We work on it together. Our community leaders here have done incredible work. Our law enforcement in Minnesota has shown bravery in making sure they're protecting our citizens. We believe in that. Public safety is strongest when we focus on serious crimes. And when communities trust they will be treated fairly, with dignity, they will be given due process, and the rule of law is supreme. We're seeing none of that from the current administration. It's not about keeping people safe. It's about generating fear. It's about generating headlines. It's public safety by political theater. And not only is it not keeping people safe, it's putting people at risk. It's putting the people that they say they're targeting at risk. It's putting other innocent Minnesotans at risk. It's putting law enforcement at risk. It is. And I will not be lectured about protecting law enforcement for the people who instigated January 6th and attacked people who were my friends of Capitol Police. So Minnesotans will not be lectured by this administration about anything, especially about public safety and human decency. We saw yesterday a U.S. citizen, a member of SEIU, was racially profiled and harassed by ICE agents right here in Minneapolis. In Minnesota, we'll prosecute criminals because of their actions, regardless of their race, their background, their immigration status.
That's right.
But we'll never target people because of those things. The distinction matters. When law enforcement is driven by profiling or intimidation, it undermines all the trust in the community. It makes us less safe, and it pulls resources away from doing the real work of crime. Minnesota's not going to play along with their strategy. We'll not allow our communities to be used as political theater or for their personal benefit. I think it's pretty clear to all of us exactly what this president is doing. He's targeting states and communities that he has a national political fight against.
Across Minnesota, families are living with anxiety, parents afraid to go to work, children afraid to come home to empty houses, neighbors afraid that an ordinary day turn into a permanent separation. When people are taken from jobs, homes, and daily life without warning, the result is not order, it is chaos. When families are torn apart, the damage is not temporary, it is lasting. Our faith traditions are clear. God places a high value on family, on the protection of children, and on the dignity of every human being. Scripture commands us to do no harm, to care for the vulnerable, and to resist systems that crush the spirit of God's people. Fear is not how healthy communities are built. Trauma is not how children thrive, and separation is not justice. As people of faith, we must say plainly, policies and practices that generate widespread fear and break families apart demand moral scrutiny. So we call for approaches that uphold human dignity, preserve family unity, and reflect the justice and mercy that God requires of us all.
We do partner with other jurisdictions. We partnered with the federal government, with the U.S. Attorney's Office, with a number of federal agencies to drive down crime because crime was the focus. The difference is that clearly crime is not the focus in these terroristic acts that are coming to our communities right now. Crime is not the focus when you are tearing a father away from his family who has done nothing wrong. Crime is not the focus when you are detaining an American citizen for no reason other than the fact that he is Somali or he is Latino. Crime is not the focus when you're dragging a pregnant woman through the street, and crime is not the focus when you are specifically focusing on communities based on the color of their skin. Where crime is the focus, Minneapolis is ready to partner to keep people safe. But that is not the case with this federal administration right now. And I got to tell you, I am increasingly concerned because of the chaos that is being caused by these ICE agents, that somebody is going to get seriously injured or killed.
That from a news conference at Shiloh Temple in Minneapolis, talking about continued ICE operations in the state of Minnesota, particularly here in the Twin Cities. Governor Walz saying that he would expect, although they don't have any information as such, that those may increase here over the holidays. And so again, a lot of words here about what can and cannot be done in terms of that support here. There's no coordination between local agencies and the federal agencies here. But again, a lot of talk here about what continues to be an ICE operation in the Twin Cities and across the state. In other news today, Anoka Hennepin teachers have now set a date for a potential strike as they continue to negotiate with the state's largest district for a new contract. Teachers could go on strike as soon as January 8th. That is just over 2 weeks from now. The two sides have not yet agreed on a new contract, with rising insurance costs and wages being the main sticking points here. The strike notice does set in place a 10-day cooling off period, which is required by law before any strike can take place. Again, their anticipated date would be more like 14 days. Anoka-Hennepin, or 16 days, pardon me. Anoka-Hennepin teachers have been working without a contract since June 30th. Also today, another batch of files related to the Jeffrey Epstein investigation have now been released by the Department of Justice, and the DOJ releasing those 30,000 more pages with a caveat saying that the documents contain untrue and sensationalist, that's a quote, claims made against President Trump that were submitted to the FBI prior to the 2020 election. Now, the New York Times is reporting that some material in the documents do mention President Trump, including an email from an unidentified federal prosecutor saying that Trump had flown on Epstein's private jet many more times than previously reported. Now, the documents also contain information on Epstein's death at a Manhattan jail. All right, we're going to take a little break here and all day. Before we head to break, though, we want to do something a little bit new and different here. If you've got a photo of your child's Christmas list, what they want from Santa, please take a picture and send it to us right here at allday@fox.com, and we may share some of those. We'd love to see what the kids are asking to get from Santa this year, and we'll share it with you here on All Day. We'll be right back. We're going to be talking about World Juniors getting underway Friday, but a big exhibition game up in Duluth tonight. We'll be right back.
today.
Welcome back, Fox 9 All Day, the day before Christmas here in this what has become a beautiful mid to late January day. We're going to be going to Duluth here in a few minutes to talk to Jim Rich, hopefully, if he can get his phone to work, about the World Juniors and specifically a exhibition game tonight with Team USA against Team Finland in a rematch of last year's gold medal game that the U.S. won to claim their third consecutive World Juniors gold medal. Anyway, first, though, we got to do some regional headlines, and we are going to begin in Mankato, where a donor has saved the Salvation Army's $30K by Saturday campaign. You see, last Thursday's blizzard kind of disrupted the Salvation Army's Red Kettle goal. So there was a local resident there who covered the remaining $14,000 they needed to reach that $30,000 goal. Now, the Salvation Army say they rely on this money to supply their Christmas Day meals, but the Red Kettle itself will be out until Christmas Eve. The Christmas Day meal in Mankato is noon to 1:30 at the Salvation Army in that city. The Mankato Free Press sharing that story with us today. On Christmas morning, people all over the world, we're going to Fargo-Moorhead, wake up to Christmas stockings filled with surprises from Santa Claus. Well, up in Fargo, the Family Birth Center is using Christmas stockings in a different way. The Fargo Forum posting this story on staff and families dressing newborns in Christmas stockings is part of a holiday tradition. We've seen this in other birth centers too. This is really cute. About 4 years ago, Sanford Health's Family Birth Center in Fargo began the tradition of dressing newborns in holiday cheer. It's become a bit of a fun way to celebrate families' newest addition during the holiday season, a bit of a gift to them. Big gift to them, actually, as it were. Okay, and now as we continue around the region, we're going to head to Rochester, where the city council there has reversed the mayor's decision, Mayor Kim Norton's vetoes related to a planned sports complex. Now, the Rochester Post-Bulletin reporting on this, the decision puts a $52 million project, this big sports complex, now back on track. The mayor had vetoed two previous decisions related to the complex that came in early December, and this included 8 ball diamonds and 12 pickleball courts. Council members maintained a 5-2 split in support of moving forward with the complex's construction plans, and again, going against the mayor's vetoes. All right, and now we're going to go back up to Duluth here. The World Juniors officially gets underway on Friday, but the pre-tournament going on in other parts of the state happening now. Last couple of weeks, teams in one of the pools have been camping out in Duluth getting ready for the action to begin. And Jim Rich, the Duluthian that he is, there he is with the beautiful lift bridge in the background. Jimmy, you got to be happy to be up in your old stomping grounds up there and be happy for what could be a fun hockey game tonight, Jimmy.
Yeah, this should be great. It's going to be a very interesting contest, to say the least, as Team USA is their final game against Team Finland before they fall and open play on December 20th. Tonight is their chance to look at the roster to make it up and to decide on stage. So the game will be right behind here. Of course, the auditorium, there's the Amsoil Arena right up there. The water.
Jimmy, you're kind of cutting out a little bit there. I don't know if it's windy in your microphone or what, but the audio kind of keeps cutting out here and there.
I'm not sure about the technology. I say that I'm hearing some feedback from, so I'm hearing myself come back.
Oh.
So maybe on that, somebody can get a switch because that's what you're hearing. It's not been.
Okay, well, yeah, it might be the feedback that's kind of messing things up here, but all right. Well, we're going to work on that. Huh?
No, doesn't do anything.
Oh, that might have helped a little bit.
All right. Well, the game is tonight here at 6 o'clock on Fox 9 Plus. I'll be joining the broadcast crew that usually does UMD Bulldog hockey. They do a great job on their event, and so we will televise that on Fox 9 Plus starting at 6. Bob Motzko, of course, is the head coach. LJ Mooney is on Team USA. Also, Brody Zemer. Those are the two Gophers on this team right now. And Zemer, of course, won gold last year. The U.S., as everyone knows, is a try for the 3. Much more pleased.
Okay, well, we'll talk to you again next hour here, and we heard a little bit more of that for sure. Whatever you did helped there, but it's going to be a fun game to watch tonight, and I know you're excited for it. Jimmy, we'll check back in with you a little bit later.
All right, I can make pictures, but I can't make sound, apparently.
Well, you sound better now, for sure.
Well, keep going. We can talk more. I got time. I'm just holding up some workers here, too, Rob.
Oh,
They're
well.
all yours.
That's okay. It's
They hold up as long as it was Rob Olson.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's lunch break time, too. What are you expecting from this game tonight? I'm sure there's going to be some kind of little revenge in the air for Team Finland.
Absolutely. The U.S. beat Finland for gold last year at the World Junior Tournament. And so they want to tell the Americans that, you know what, this isn't going to be an easy run for you. And even though they're obviously not the same teams because players age out, it's still going to be a very competitive showcase. And this is where the teams want to get it right. So they'll play a whole game. Then they'll also play at the end, no matter what the score is, 5 minutes and 3-on-3. So they'll be ready for if any overtime is needed in the tournament once they get down to it.
Are these two teams, you mentioned players aging out because after, that goes up to age 20. I mean, but are these two teams still considered the top two teams in this tournament that we might see a rematch for the actual gold medal game?
I think so. I mean, States has turning play real well when they were in the Twin Cities for the World Junior Summer Showcase. They went undefeated in that, so they obviously a loaded bunch. And then Sweden, Canada. Canada, of course, always loaded for bear. They had good success the last couple of years, so they'll be looking to make a mark for themselves as well. So those are the 4 countries of the 10 that really have a legitimate shot at walking out of St. Paul with a gold medal.
All right. Well, again, we'll check back with you a little bit later in this show for a little bit more talking about Team USA, headed up by the U of M's own Bob Motzko. Thanks, Jimmy.
All right. It's 1:40. Think we can join you or something like that. But we'll have members of the defenseman play.
Okay.
Talk about Canada. What do you think?
Well, yeah, it was the Gremlins are back there, Jimmy. I was cutting out, but I know you're going to be talking hopefully with some players, here for Team USA, talking about what's going to happen here. A lot of impressive NHL prospects playing in this tournament. It's a tournament, Ryan, that globally. Certainly in other parts of the hockey playing globe, this is a much bigger deal than it has traditionally been to an American audience. And so it's hoped by having it here in the U.S., it can attract more U.S. hockey fans.
Absolutely, and as you mentioned, Rob, yes, in Canada, this is a massive deal, and here in the U.S., it kind of flies under the radar a little bit. So it's a big event to be hosted here, and it's one that is watched across the hockey globe. And Jimmy, you can't have both things, right? You can't. We had this beautiful looking shot with the lift bridge in the background, but then we couldn't hear him. We can't just have both things where we can hear him and see him clearly.
Yeah, because other times he keeps freezing up. You can hear him fine, but he's just frozen, and now he's looked great and you couldn't hear him. So
we're going to work on that. He's going to try and get us a player coming up at 1:30. That's what he was trying to talk to you about at the end there.
Yeah,
but
I gathered a little bit of that. I know, and that will be with our traditional TV camera setup. So
yes.
That one should be good. But yeah, for those who are the hockey fans get it, the casual fans maybe not. That this is the tournament begins Friday, and what happens tonight? I mean, the other night Team USA beat Germany. Was it 7-0 or 8-0 or something in an exhibition game? And there's been these two pools. They were doing some around the state stuff, but now the last couple of weeks, I believe, 5 of those teams have been just at Amsoil Arena in Duluth doing their preparation and playing each other. And so again, tonight, Team USA, Team Finland, which was the gold medal game, which we won by, I think, 1 goal. I think it was 3-2, if I remember right, for the 3rd consecutive gold medal for the U.S. So that'll be that rematch tonight. And even though it doesn't count for anything, it's going to count for pride for sure.
Yeah. And it's really cool that parts of the state get to participate in this as well. I mean, I don't know the main events here in the Twin Cities, but Duluth, Bemidji, Rochester, they're all playing a part in this, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're traveling around quite a bit for these for the exhibition part of this. But again, I think the Fan Fest stuff and the games get going Friday and then go through, I think it's the 5th of January is the gold medal game, if I remember right.
Yeah.
So a couple of weeks of really, really good hockey here, filled with a bunch of people you're going to be soon seeing in the NHL.
You will. Yep, for sure.
All right, what is next
Let's
here?
take a little break. We got a little zen, a little moment of zen. Speaking of skating.
Oh, this is the drone's eye view of the up in Maple Grove of the. Yeah, beautiful day to get out and skate and enjoy it now from straight above.
.5.
All right, welcome back to All Day on this Tuesday. Hope you're getting your Christmas shopping completed. I know Santa's getting his stuff ready to go from the North Pole. So Christmas Eve tomorrow night and then Thursday morning. It's going to be a fun morning. It's going to be nice weather for it, too. If you're trying to get that last minute shopping done or getting over the hills and through the woods to grandmother's house, we go. It's a great weather to do all of that. Plus, you can still enjoy skating and stuff like that outside. So we're going to check another look at this Christmas forecast with meteorologist Keith Marler.
Mixing a little sunshine up through the day today as we do our best to warm up to near a thaw here in the Twin Cities. We'll commit to that in southern Minnesota, but north of town, we're certainly staying frozen today. The coolest of the next several days ahead as we looking and living large. An average high for this time of year would be the middle-ish 20s, but we're not doing too bad for the end of December. We're going to hover near a thaw as we move through the afternoon after a start that stayed in the mid-20s. Again, it wasn't too terribly chilly of a morning, despite the fact they had a cold front roll on by the area. Behind that front, sunshine, a few thin clouds, sometimes a little more veiled than others as those clouds kind of come and go through the better part of the day. Fairly quiet, though, for most of the holiday itself and for most of the week. Small little cold front coming on by, a little clipper on Thursday evening, so Christmas evening could bring some very light moisture across the area in the form of some light rain or light wintry mix for some very light snow to the north. That could cause some travel hiccups if folks are, again, driving long distances on Christmas evening. Well, more on that in a second. We'll refine that as we get closer to it. And then, again, that except Christmas night issue would be about it. Otherwise, we are going to get cold late in the weekend into Sunday and into early parts of next week. All right, put it together then. Sunshine to partly cloudy at best through the day today. Reinforcing northwest flow keeps temperatures from going anywhere, so we hit the lower 30s toward mid-morning, and that's pretty much where we'll stay for the better part of the day today. We'll cool off to the low 20s overnight tonight, a little cooler, but still above average. Then we'll keep the clouds around that build tonight into the day tomorrow, but with southern flow, we'll be able to pick up mid-30s for tomorrow, around 36 for tomorrow afternoon. So a legitimate thaw, a little chillier up north overall. And then into the day on Christmas Day proper, highs in the upper 30s on Christmas afternoon. As we go on into our Christmas evening on Christmas Day, we have that little light system. This is just give you a sense of color, so it goes, oh, I remember seeing something. A little snow to the north, a wintry mix or some rain across the area. Don't look at timing, don't look at shape or format. I'm just giving you an ink blot, so it's imprinted. Something, just take that away. Something's happening. We'll refine that as it gets closer. I just wanted you to file that if you're traveling. Otherwise, bright and quiet today, fairly steady temperatures with sun, a few clouds. Temperatures holding pretty much steady in the lower 30s. Tonight, dip into the lower 20s as the clouds return, and then for tomorrow, pretty quiet overall, mostly cloudy to cloudy sky, highs in the middle 30s. Easy going for your Christmas Eve as we go on through the day. As we head on into the 7-day forecast, looking at a high around 38 on Christmas afternoon, with that little chance for some weak precipitation, whatever form it might take, late in the evening or in the early overnight hours. Cloud cover doesn't go anywhere, though. Mostly cloudy sky, a peak of sun on Friday and Saturday. Highs in the upper 30s to near 40 on both days. Then that frontal boundary could pop a couple of flakes here and there Saturday night and bring in those colder temperatures. Sunshine and highs only in the teens heading into Sunday and Monday.
All right, looks pretty good. You know who also is very excited to not have any storms over the holidays? The meteorologists. They just want to enjoy their holiday too. That's what Keith said. Anyway, moving on here. Land, cars, even Red Bulls. The state of Minnesota auctions off some pretty random items. I'm looking at their auction site right now. There's a lot of stuff here, including, yes, they just recently completed a land auction. Amy Hocker checked in with the Department of Natural Resources to talk about some of this year's items.
Well, did you know the state of Minnesota sells a bunch of stuff at discount? Land, cars, pallets of Red Bull. We saw that the other day. They do it via auction, and there was actually just one this past week for some public plots of land. Kirsten Larson is the DNR's Strategic Land Assessment Management Supervisor. She's joining us now to kind of tell us how that went and talk more about these auctions. Thanks for joining us, Kirsten.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So this is, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that, DNR is actually one of the largest landowner in the state. So we own about 5.5 million acres of land. And just like any landowner who's always trying to make good decisions about the land that they hold or sell, every year we go through a process of just saying, like, is our land meeting our needs?
Yeah.
And this year we had a fairly modest land sale of about 200 acres of land that we thought might be better owned by others.
Okay, and so before we talk about this year's auction or this last week's auction, tell me a little bit more about the land. Who is usually bidding on this? What do they use it for? Are they getting a great deal?
Yes. So the land that we offer can be bid on by anyone in the state. The only folks that can't bid on DNR administered land are DNR employees. But most typically what we see are the kinds of folks that are looking for land might be adjoining landowners who might see a really good opportunity to expand their holding. It might be folks who are looking for recreational land, and so they're looking for an opportunity to go out and have hunting land or build a deer camp or something like that. So those are kind of the big groups of folks who are most often interested in purchasing the land that we have.
Okay, and the way it works, it's auction style, and you have like a minimum bid, is that right? And so what were, you know, tell me about all of them, but maybe minimum bids, and then what and how much money did you end up sort of making on the back end of it?
Yeah, the interesting thing is that the way that the state is authorized to sell land is through this public auction process, and the goal of that is that it's the most transparent. Anyone can access it. You can see the bids that are being made. This year we had a fairly active auction, so we we use what's called MinBid, or it's the state's kind of online auction platform. And folks would go on, you'd register, you'd be assigned a bid number, and then you'd place your online bid. And we had some auctions. We had a small kind of triangle piece of land that ended up, its minimum value was $5,000, so it appraised for $5,000, and it ended up getting bid up a fair amount. So the final sale price was $75,000, and so there was a really active, process of 3 or 4 folks that were bidding that up until
Is that normal?
It really varies. Like there are some years where our auctions, maybe there's like a couple bids and it goes up $100 or two. This year it was that was the most dramatic one, but we had 3 other parcels that were listed at around the $30,000 mark and sold, anywhere from $40,000 to $50,000.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so let's talk about some of this land, because the sale actually included, what was it, just under 200 acres of what's called school trust land. Tell us what that means and how that money is then used.
That's right. So the DNR administers types of lands, and a statute lays out kind of different kinds of mandates. And one of the types of lands that we own and administer are called school trust lands. And those lands that were granted by the federal government starting at the time of statehood to the state of Minnesota to manage for the purpose of generating revenue for the state's public schools. So in those cases, we're either managing the lands to generate revenue, typically through like timber harvest or maybe minerals management. We take the revenue from those activities, they're deposited in the permanent school fund, and every year schools receive a certain amount of money from that funding. One of the other ways that we generate revenue from these parcels is when they can't generate revenue from things that can happen on the land, like, for example, timber harvesting, we may decide to sell them and use the proceeds from those lands to deposit in the fund and go to supporting schools. So that's another way that they support the schools.
Incredible. I bet a lot of people don't know that the way that money comes in, from the side like that. That's really incredible. So tell us about, I guess, the next one. Do you guys have one coming up soon, or when does bidding open back up for some more parcels?
Right. So we typically do one land sale per year. So next year we'll be hoping to have a land sale kind of in that late summer, early fall time period. This year's land sale was fairly modest, like we talked about, 5 parcels. We're expecting there will probably be more parcels available during next year's land sale, and perhaps even some lakeshore parcels. So certainly stay tuned. Go to our land sale webpage. It can get you signed up to receive notifications when future land sales are scheduled, to take a look at whatever we might have on offer.
All right, we appreciate your time. Sounds like it was a success, and also the state also sells a bunch of different stuff. We mentioned it off the top. DNR obviously is just kind of honing in on the land, but I mean, we got lost. I'm not going to lie. We went down some rabbit holes here with some of the stuff that's on the website.
Yes, it's worth a couple minutes down the rabbit hole. So DNR uses the Department of Administration's online auction platform, and all state agencies use this online auction platform. And the state, owns and uses a lot of stuff, a lot of cars, whether it's, the Department of Public Safety or MnDOT, and has all kinds of equipment. And when that equipment, is no longer needed by the state, they use this MinBid auction platform to make it available to the public.
Yeah, hence the pallet of Red Bull that we all saw.
Exactly.
It's just incredible stuff. All right, thanks, Kirsten. We appreciate it. And yeah, that's great. It's great to know that there's this system in place that can help also funnel money into the schools here in Minnesota. Appreciate your time today.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, I was looking at MinBids here. I was thinking about either buying a forklift or there's a dental chair here.
You never know.
Yeah. I could, I don't know what I need a forklift for, where I'd park it, but it
well, you never
seems
know.
like it'd be fun.
You never know if you need a forklift until you need it.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
So it's one of those things, get it, just have it there, and you'll know when the time comes.
Maybe never need it, but if you do, You're like, thank goodness I got this forklift.
Yeah, it's like a
sitting here.
generator, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, we got some talkers here. Got a few minutes. Again, Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell in about 7 minutes or so if he's on time.
Give or take,
Yeah.
that's a rough estimate of time.
Lindsey Vonn, Minnesota Zone, qualifying for her 5th Winter Olympics. She's 41. She qualified over the weekend in France and wrote on Instagram, "I'm honored to be able to represent my country one more time in my 5th and final Olympics," which of course is in February in Milan.
It's crazy. 5 Olympics. Think about that. That's over 20 years, right? I can do that math, right? But Lindsey Vonn, you're right.
Yeah, you think of all the injuries she's had.
Yes.
And at age 41, and she's doing something that is incredibly stressful on the human body in those downhill runs.
Rob, I know someone who's 41, and let's just say I don't know if I could do that.
Well, I know you couldn't do that. That's what's remarkable, the beating you take on downhill ski runs. And at 41, and she's in competition once again.
Yeah. A remarkable career for Lindsey Vonn. Yep.
All right, you got plans to eat lobster for Christmas?
Not if I went to Costco, no.
No. That's true. You got to rework your menu because $400,000 worth of lobster bound for Costco locations in Minnesota has vanished.
Gone.
400 grand worth of lobster. I don't know how many lobsters that is, but that seems like quite a bit.
It's quite a bit. I know lobster's, pricier, but that is quite a bit. That's the great lobster heist.
Yeah. Being transported by Rexing companies and stolen after a pickup in Taunton, Massachusetts.
This is right out of a movie. Like, who stars in this movie?
Matt Damon.
Yeah, Matt Damon.
Yeah.
He does sound like something out east, right?
Yeah.
Ben Affleck, It's like something from The Town or
Stealing the lobster. All right, we've got the NFL announcing the AFC and NFC rosters for the Pro Bowl games, and not a single Viking on the list.
This is not our year. I think the surprise is Justin Jefferson seems to be a lock for this, but he has just not had the season. The quarterback situation is a big part of it, but he's also had some drops too. So it's just not been his season. Nobody. And we'll see how things shake out. A lot of times, obviously, when the Super Bowl teams do not participate in, so then you get you get replacement players, I guess technically. So we could sneak in a few. And at the end of the day.
It's surprising with Jefferson. He hasn't had the best stats here, but some of that has been either hasn't been getting the ball thrown his way, or it's been thrown over his head, etc. But you're right, he did have a few drops, some stuff he should have held on to. So
100%. Yeah, I think the quarterback play is a big part of it. So, and we're going to hear from Coach any moment now.
Yeah,
so.
Former Viking quarterback Sam Darnold, though, will be the NFC quarterback.
I mean, it kind of stings a little bit.
It does sting a little bit.
It does.
All right, KOC is due up at the podium at 12:50, so just over 3 minutes from now if he's on time, and if not, we'll wait for him, right?
That's true. We'll take a little bit of a break here, have a little zen for you here, and then a quick break, and we'll come back. Kevin O'Connell on the other end.
Hi, I'm Travis.
And I'm
VikingsFox.com today.
All right, welcome back to All Day. It is Tuesday, the 23rd. So, again, the day before Christmas.
It was the night before Christmas Eve.
Yeah, and we're hoping for a good Christmas gift in Minnesota with a Vikings win over the Lions, not because it would mean anything for the Vikings beyond a moral victory. It would also play spoiler to the Lions.
They're holding on for their lives after a loss to Pittsburgh, and what ended that game ended very oddly, and the Lions just could not do anything offensively in that game. The Steelers had them locked down, and Aaron Rodgers played pretty well. I think that was a surprise that a lot of people didn't see coming, that Pittsburgh won that game. So the Lions are on life support for the playoffs here. And who would have thought? I mean, they were kind of one of the favorites in the NFC to get to the Super Bowl, and here they are hanging on. Probably going to be on the outside looking. They are right now on the outside looking in.
Well, for them to make the playoffs, Detroit, they have to win out 2 games, and the Packers have to lose 2 games. And the Lions play the Vikings, and then they play the Bears.
I mean, the Vikings are. I know we can kind of look at a record and say that's a winnable game, but the Vikings have shown some fight here. And then the Packers will be, or sorry, the Bears, you said, was the final.
Yeah, I believe that was what it is here. Yeah.
And the Bears are in the playoffs after their wild win on Saturday over the Packers. But they could be playing for seeding or positioning too. So that's I can't remember if the 1 seed is still in play for the Bears. I know Seattle has that currently. So the Lions, this is not going to be an easy task for them. So the Vikings certainly could play spoiler.
Yeah, certainly. And then the Vikings play the Packers in the final.
Yep.
You know, so if we can beat the Packers. But the Packers, again, for the Lions to make it, they have to win out and the Packers have to lose out. For the Packers to make the playoffs, basically any one thing can happen.
Right.
You know, that if I think if the Vikings beat the Lions, then the Packers are in, regardless of what else happens.
Yeah, and listen, I think a lot will depend on who's behind center for the Vikings. If it's J.J. McCarthy, we've seen that he's given us kind of a fighting chance in these games. Max Brosmer, not as much. So a lot will be, and Kevin O'Connell here is expected to speak any time now. We might get an injury update on J.J. McCarthy. We know it's his right hand. That was the reason that he left the game against New York the other day. And he did not practice yesterday. It's a short week. So, I mean, the game, we're 2 days away here. So.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of players that did not practice yesterday. Looking at T.J. Hawkinson did not practice yesterday. He's got a shoulder injury. Center Ryan Kelly, concussion, did not practice. Jordan Mason, running back, ankle injury, did not practice. Of course, McCarthy did not practice. Tackle Brian O'Neill with a heel injury did not practice. Aaron Jones, running back, who's been really good for us, an ankle injury and left practice yesterday.
Yeah, and this is a kind of a typical injury report as we get to the late parts of the season and these short weeks now. I mean, we're having games on Thursday. There's games on Saturdays now. So all teams are dealing with these kind of short weeks, and that doesn't help the case, right? Because you typically see, you hope that they practice on a Wednesday, that they maybe practice a little more on a Thursday, and then they're good to go by Sunday. Now you have to be good to go by Wednesday, Thursday. So
no, so you're watching still an empty podium there at TCO Performance Center.
It is, yeah, but we can put it up here just so everyone knows we're not lying. We are waiting for Kevin O'Connell to speak here. He's expected to speak anytime now.
Yep. He's 4 minutes behind schedule, but you know that's okay. We'll cut him some slack here. I watched the first half of the game on Sunday, and then kind of listened to the second half while I was getting some other stuff done, and then watched the end of the game as well. And you know, when you saw them touch J.J. McCarthy's hand on the sidelines, and he winced in pain right at the end of the half.
Yes.
Not a good sign. You know, he seemed to be, you know, they were kind of feeling around and just they hit a spot there. So is that enough to keep him out on Thursday? I mean, we'll find out here, hopefully in a few minutes.
Throwing hand, so I mean, it is problematic.
It's problematic for a quarterback. You hate to see him out now. I mean, he's had a lot of injuries. I mean, he had that injury that kept him out all of last season. And then this year he's had, well, most recently had a concussion. He had, what was it? He had 3 different things this year.
Well, the ankle was the first thing, if I remember correctly, right?
Yep, the ankle.
And then the concussion, and now the hand issue. So, the health of J.J. McCarthy is starting to be a concern, and then obviously he missed his entire rookie season. So that is concerning if you're a Vikings fan, because I think what we're seeing is when he's on the field, you are seeing a little bit of progress, right? You're seeing him make some good throws. You're seeing the offense start to click a little bit. But then there's a setback, then you have to bring in Max Brosemer, and then McCarthy comes back to the offense, and there's just no there's no stability in that position this year. That's been tough for the Vikings. So,
well, there go all the microphones. That might be a sign of impending KOC sighting here. But yeah, you would like to see J.J. McCarthy. You want to see him get more game time, because this is what he desperately needs: is this real life game time experience and experiencing the different rushes from the other defenses across the league in order to make that decision more quickly. In the last couple of games, that's what we saw, is he was making, going through the progressions and making the decision much more quickly. And, I think KOC said, just play, just throw the ball. We'll worry about some of these mechanics that we're trying to nuance later down the line, and which has to improve in order to prove his longevity, certainly. But for now, just get through the read, make that decision, put the ball in their hands.
Yeah, I think people want to see him throw the ball down the field a little bit more too. We're seeing kind of the check downs, and that is fine. You need to do that sometimes. You don't want to force it. But I think people really want to see him throw that ball to Justin Jefferson, to Jordan Addison, and see what that deep ball looks like, and take a few shots. But, young quarterback doesn't want to make a lot of mistakes, so there is that. And, there's 2 options for J.J. McCarthy if he runs into trouble. He checks down to his, tight end, or he takes off with his feet. And that we've seen some success there where he can run. But that's what we want to see over the next couple games, is can he take some shots down the field. And, with the hand injury, that's going to be tough, right? And either he's not going to play or he's going to be out there with a hand injury. So
yeah, well, hopefully taking him out of the second half of Sunday's game then was a huge help in order to heal that, prevent further injury, I should say, in the rest of the game. That would get him back in this game on Christmas Day, Christmas afternoon. It's going to be a whiteout at US Bank Stadium, which is always fun.
Always fun. It looks cool. And I'm a little bit, some of these uniform combinations I think get a little bit crazy here, but I do like the whiteout on Christmas. I do think that looks nice at US Bank Stadium, so I'm in support of that.
Yeah, so that should be a fun Christmas afternoon, and luckily not a whiteout outside, so it makes it easier to get to and from the game. Here as we again hope the Vikings give us a little bit of a Christmas gift. Again, meaningless except for the moral victory here. You want to beat, the Lions. A lot of people, for a lot of people, the Packers are the biggest rival. Other people say the Bears, and I would say the Lions are. I mean, they're all part of our. Those are the ones you want to beat.
And 7-8 right now. So if you win out, you finish with a winning record, right? Is my math checking out there? Maybe 9-8. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So, a lot of people will say, oh, that's going to hurt our draft pick. But at the end of the day, with all the injuries that they've had, with all the uncertainty around the quarterback position, if you can finish with a winning record, there is something to speak to of that, I suppose.
I guess, yeah. I mean, if you want to look at it that way. Yeah, certainly. Still no movement in there, huh? I'm hearing some, no. Just the empty podium.
Just an empty podium right now. Microphones are ready. You see that one on the far left there, Fox 9. It's ready, so we're ready.
Ready to go.
Yeah.
What else do you want to hear from KOC today? I guess we'll find out right now.
We'll go, yeah.
Your shot is... First of all, Merry Christmas to everyone here, your families. Hopefully you guys find some time to celebrate with your loved ones this week. I know, we've got a lot of work to do leading into Thursday, but very much looking forward to it myself. Looking back to Sunday, I just thought it was, although different from a standpoint of maybe how we won the football game and the aesthetics of what it looked like, I think this team has learned how to win a variety of different games, depending on the elements, depending on injuries, depending on any potential obstacles. We're going to try to find a way to win a football game by any means necessary. Every 60 minutes that we do get, it was our kicking game with Will again, and some tough elements being 3 for 3, and obviously our defense being massive for us with their performance on Sunday, and we did enough offensively with some adversity that kind of hit along the way to win the football game. Short week, not necessarily looking at it as a short week, more so a fast opportunity that will be here before we know it, and our team is really excited to be back home, playing on Thursday, playing in a game a lot of folks will be watching. It's a chance for us to continue to put on display the growth of this team, the mindset of this team, despite circumstances. These guys want to win every football game we got left, and it's going to be a really a massive challenge. Dan's going to have his team ready to go. It's going to be physical. It's going to be 60 minutes of NFC North football, and this game means a lot to us, and we're putting everything we've got into it. Knowing we get a chance to play in front of our great fans again at US Bank Stadium here to close the season a couple times. To give you guys an update, JJ McCarthy, we did continue to get further imaging beyond the initial x-ray and beyond even the initial MRI. Got some further imaging, and it was discovered he does have a very, very small hairline fracture that was discovered in his hand. We are not expecting to have him this week. I do not think this is anything that will require surgery. Similar kind of recovery is kind of similar to a bone bruise, but obviously there is a small hairline fracture in there, and we'll keep you guys posted about his availability next week. Said it after the game. Been really, really happy and proud of the way JJ through the kind of final stanza of the season here has really, really took some big steps and grown, and it's been a blast, being with him every day and kind of being along that ride with him, although we've lost, time to continue that throughout the season, and we're, experiencing it again here on a fast opportunity type short week. That doesn't take away from the growth we've seen from JJ. So he's dialed in. He's out. He was out here for the walkthroughs, being a part of things, and wants to stay 100% locked and loaded in the hopes of returning next week, hopefully. But obviously, we're going to be smart with him and see where it takes us. Outside of that, I'll open it up to you guys.
How's Ryan Kelly?
Yeah, Ryan Kelly more than likely will be out this week. He's doing well as far as where his symptoms and things are at. Obviously disappointed that it happened, and just going back and taking a look at not only the play, but the sequences, during the play, after the play, if there was anything we could have avoided in there, but no, just part of the game, and Ryan knows that. Just so much respect for Ryan as a player, and just the way he, obviously took the amount of time he did and was fighting to get back on the field, and felt ready to go, and we were kind of holding back a little bit beyond that, and then when he returned to the field, just the impact he's had on our offense over these last few games have been massive. So we need Jergs to step up and play a huge role for us, and I know Ryan's gonna do everything he can to help Jergs get ready to go. In all likelihood, I think we're gonna, we'll have some discussions. It's obviously a short week, and in regards to the roster management discussions and things like that, that I leave that to the personnel department. But Ryan and I will continue to have dialogue. The most important thing for me has been making sure that just he spends the majority of his time, with the medical folks and making sure he's in a good place. Say that one more time. I know there's been, we checked the video, thoroughly, like I know many of you folks did as well, and there's obviously some potential candidates of plays that happened, but he's not entirely sure exactly when it was, and then ultimately, kind of felt it for real on that, on his last play of the day. He said he did feel it on that play. Just the fact that he could not grip the ball. Yeah, he I think the first time he really felt it was when after that play. I think they evaluated him. I was right there on the sideline, and he had his first real pain. He said he felt when they were checking certain spots of his hand.
Just in terms of next week in this building, what does that depend on?
Purely just with this injury and really what it is and everything. It's one of those things. It's just about his grip strength and his ability to grip the football and throw the ball. See where he's at.
What about Jordan Mason? How he's doing?
Yeah, he's still feeling it. He's still feeling it, and obviously with the short week, he's going to do everything he can to maybe try to give it a go, and don't want to rule him out by any stretch yet. Give him the ample time to try to see if he can get there. But we are. We do have options from a standpoint of if he can't go. Ty Chandler's still in his window and could be a possibility to come up to the roster. We've kind of had some roster spots for a couple weeks now. We got Dwight McLaughlin back on the roster last week. It's given us some opportunities to maybe elevate some guys up from the practice squad and/or potentially have Ty available to step in with Aaron and Zay. Yeah, he's obviously came out of the game sore. He did everything he could to get to the game, and what an unbelievable display of leadership and just how much all of this matters to him and how much his teammates matter to him. The fact that he was able to get there and give it a go. So obviously, shorter week this week, so we'll see where he's at. We're going to try to kind of go through a similar process, a little bit expedited timeline, and see if he can possibly get there. But I know if there's a chance he can go, 75 is going to be out there.
Kevin, on JJ, when you went back and looked at the entire game, did you see anything prior to that very last play that indicated any kind of issue he was having?
No, obviously before that last drive, he had the scramble for the touchdown, where he, I said it after the game, I didn't have a great angle on the actual crossing of the front line, and I didn't know if maybe he took a pretty good shot there, but he was able to avoid that, get in the end zone, and then I think he got up, gave a pretty significant high five to Jets, and then got into his celebration. So nothing there. I even think I gave him a high five running off the field because I thought it was a massive play in the game. Yeah. Another great example of him using that athleticism on a weighty down to kind of make it right for us. So no, I had not. There was no feeling there. I used the timeout with the defensive stop because I knew the Giants were getting the ball and wanted to be aggressive. And then, as that next series kind of started, we started off with a run, and then there was a little bit of trying to communicate via, him being in the middle of the field is not always easy to do. Tried to call a simple, safe play that we had some execution on. In the game to Jets, just a simple receiver screen, and he was unable to dish that ball out there by not having a grip.
He comes over the sidelines and has the reaction that he did. Did you fear that it was actually something much worse?
Yeah, I did. He's so tough, and really, if you think about it, most of the times he's ended up missing time. He's either stayed in the game or we find out the next day, just because he's such a competitor and always wants to stay in the game, which I value so tremendously at that position. But yeah, it was obviously very unfortunate because he, even though he didn't know it at the time, he was unable to do his job, which obviously would have altered my thinking in the moment, and I probably would have been answering questions from you guys of, running out the clock and just trying to take it in right there. Or, as I told JJ, in those circumstances, there's nothing wrong with, letting us evaluate you and see if we can get you back out there, and Max will step in and, at least allow us to handle the end of the half accordingly with how we see fit to try to maintain the momentum we had at that time.
Kevin, what's the process like getting Max broken ready in a short week for another chance to start here?
Yeah, the good news is he had, a preparation week before he played against Seattle. learned a lot in that opportunity, and I thought applied a lot of the principles of, you know, the rhythm and progressions he was going through. Everything was very sequenced up and timed up with his feet, and had some really nice plays from a standpoint of progressions, finding completions here or there, and then obviously that massive third down throw to Justin. Great anticipation, great location, giving Justin a chance to go get it. It felt like what was a really, really cool thing was seeing a young player who had gotten a chance to play on the road previously, did some good things, learned a lot in that game, and then gets a chance to kind of go back into that number 2 role. And without, you know, sometimes the best things you can do is not get too much of a chance to think about it, put your helmet on and go out there. And I thought he did a phenomenal job for us, and was a big reason why we were able to win a tough football game, you know, under those circumstances.
There's no conversation with JJ. Where do you think he's at mentally, given the fact that just the sample size this year?
No, I think he's just disappointed because he's been really feeling, you know, it's hard to explain, and even for him, you know, when we're talking, going through ideas or thoughts early in the week or as the week progresses, you just feel a level of, you know, we can now circle back to reps of, you know, this is going to kind of feel like this did, or, you know, I remember I checked the ball down on this one, but maybe had that down the field, and I like this play, or hey, can we try this? And that's growth for all of us together. So really, it's just, you know, having, you know, if it ends up being a week, having that taken away, it's just a bummer because, like I said, it's been really fun. Although, you know, and rightly so. I know the week-to-week judgment of players and decisions and all these things that are noise. In many cases, I understand it all. But the most fun part of this and the most real part of it is coaching a young player on his journey where, you know, we've really started to see kind of some things click for him, and he's done that. He deserves all the credit for that. So it is, you know, it's just a bummer that we don't get to see it, you know, this week on Thursday back at home. But like I said, you know, he's in a good spot mentally. No reason to kind of overanalyze anything at this point from a standpoint of, hey, let's get you healthy, and if you can go next week, let's go. Let's get right back at it. Thank you.
Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell saying that J.J. McCarthy not expected to play on Christmas Day versus the Lions at home at U.S. Bank Stadium. He said they did some additional imaging on his hand beyond the initial X-ray and MRI and found a small hairline fracture. Does not require surgery. The recovery is similar to a bone bruise, but not expecting that he'll be able to play on Thursday, hoping to get him back then for the final game of the season the following week, the Packers. All right, we'll be right back here on Fox 9 all day after a quick break. Welcome back to All Day on Fox 9. Rob Olson in for Amy Hockert, who's enjoying some time off here for the holidays. This story just in to our newsroom. The Minnesota Star-Tribune has filed a lawsuit now against the city of Minneapolis, claiming the city is not complying with the state's Government Data Practices Act that requires public access to government records. Now, the lawsuit's alleging repeated failures on the part of the MPD, the Minneapolis Police Department. We're reaching out to the city for a response on this, some more context and clarity about what this suit's about, and we'll let you know when we hear back. All right, 1:15. The holidays are certainly a special time to spend with loved ones. Sometimes, though, it can be a bit stressful. Holiday dinners, particularly, could be a bit of a minefield if politics becomes part of that dinner conversation. So joining us now is Jeff Tiemann with Braver Angels to talk about strategies for being a better listener, not just a talker, but being a listener. Jeff, thanks for joining us. First, a little background on what Braver Angels is and the mission. I know the quote is, "We're taking a stand against toxic politics." Explain what you do.
Yeah, thank you. Well, at Braver Angels, we envision an America where courageous citizenship is the honored norm. And that means renewing civic culture and building trust across political differences. That first phrase is really our North Star, an America where courageous citizenship is the honored norm. And as you said, family is a big deal. Families are one of the last places where people across differences still sit at the same table. And if we can't handle disagreement there, it's hard to practice it anywhere else.
I guess so. I mean, if you're there with loved ones and it doesn't work, it's not going to work with strangers out in a public space or forum. So, okay, let's say here we're sitting down for dinner. And, you know, this is probably an experience people have had over the last many number of years. Some sort of controversial or potentially explosive topic comes up. What is the first step here in your advice to being a better listener rather than the talker here?
Yeah, I think the first thing is just our own preparation. Remember to treat family like a loved one, not like an opponent. The moment we shift into, I have to win this argument, everybody loses. So it really starts with the idea of curiosity and being open to listen to what the family members have. Look for things that you have in common. You share the family, you share a lot of values, and explore those. But ask people about their differences to find out, not to argue against them.
Okay, so more like, and I know what you're talking about. Instead of immediately launching into a counterpoint argument, it's more of a discussion. Like, okay, explain why you think that, or where did you hear that, or what do you,
right,
that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, how did you come to see things that way? Or if you've got people coming from out of town, you could ask, what do people in your part of the country think about such and such? And it's just a genuine question of curiosity. You might learn something too.
Yeah, I think that's important too, that just because somebody has a different opinion than you, it doesn't make that opinion invalid. And so probing a little bit about what forms that opinion, might be enlightening. I mean, it might be something that is not factually based that you can have a discussion about, or maybe it is factually based and it can open up your mindset too, right?
Exactly. And then you can test and see if they're open to hearing your point of view, and just say, hey, I've got a different perspective. Can I share it? And see if they're willing to listen to you. But if you've done a good job of listening to them, they're more likely to then be interested in listening to you. Okay.
What are some of the signs then that one of these discussions, though, as you're trying to have a civil, a conversation and exploring some of the background, or what are some of the signs, though, that might be going off the rails?
Yeah, well, if the volume goes up, things get heated. One of the things to do is just think about a graceful exit. And you might say something like, we see things differently, but I care about you. And then change the subject. Or you ask, like we said before, how'd you come to that point of view? If it really starts to go sideways, people are yelling at each other and getting mad, just exit, go help in the kitchen, check in with the kids, grab some more dessert. That's not avoidance. That is really emotional intelligence. That's valuing the relationship more than trying to win an argument.
Okay. Not all arguments either are from people with staunchly opposing viewpoints either. You know, it might not be from different sides of the political spectrum. I mean, in some cases, it's people who may largely agree with each other, but still get in an argument about some finer point of that. I mean, what are some of the advice or skills that you have? You know, if somebody you kind of agree with or mostly agree with turns into a debated argument.
Yeah, that's where I say go back to what you have in common. You go back to the values. It sounds like we are both concerned about public safety, for example, or we both care about what's best for educating our children for the future. So go back and anchor on those values and the priorities, and maybe end it there if you are at an impasse.
Is this something where you would advise people maybe to steer clear of some of these topics, or do you think it's healthy to get into them in a respectful discussion way?
Yeah, at Braver Angels, we really look at engaging in these in a healthy, respectful way. And like I said, if we can't practice this at the dinner table with our family, then we're not going to be able to do that out in the community. And it's so important for this country that we are able to talk through our points of disagreement so that we can come to action that move the country forward, solve some of the problems that we're dealing with that are kind of sidelined right now because of the polarization.
Yeah, and that might be kind of a microcosm of what we see at, either the state legislature or in Congress, where instead of, I've had old school politicians tell me, it used to be we would disagree with each other, but we would just get in a room and we were friends and we could work out, okay, what are the points that we do agree on, and go from there to have a compromise. And, we like this, you like that, and maybe a little bit of horse trading and maybe a common ground. And do you think that's been lost not only for politicians, but for friends and family?
It has, and we've seen a steep rise over the last 40 years. In fact, the level of polarization in our country is the highest now since it's been in the 1850s. And if you think about right after the 1850s, we went to war with each other. And so this is a pretty critical time in our country's history where we need to turn the corner on this, and that's why Braver Angels exists.
All right. Well, I hear you're retiring soon. Is that right?
I am retiring at the end of this month.
Wow. Well, congratulations on that. What are your words of wisdom as you head into the ranks of the retirees?
Well, I would say, enjoy life. There are so many things to enjoy, and rather than get wrapped around the axle on the things that we don't enjoy or don't agree on, find ways to explore other points of view from a curiosity perspective, and then move forward.
All right. Fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us. If people want to learn more about Braver Angels, where can they go?
So Braver Angels, you talk about family. Braver Angels offers a lot of free resources, and we have a free Families and Politics e-course with practical tools about family conversations. And if you just visit braverangels.org, you can find that. It's free and immediately useful.
Yeah, it reminds me. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I just think, I would love everyone to think about, what they heard today on Fox 9 as they enter into the family discussions. And, just think about Fox. F is for finding common ground. O is for opening with curiosity instead of argument. And X is for exit gracefully if things get heated.
Oh,
FOX.
Very good.
Preserving the relationship matters a lot more than winning the argument.
Yeah, and it reminds me of the old saying, we got two ears and one mouth, so listen twice as much as you speak.
Exactly. Yeah. And listen to find common ground and understanding versus listening to prepare to argue back.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us. Happy holidays to you. Happy retirement.
Thank you. Happy holidays, too. Enjoy your family discussions.
I always do. Thank you. All right. Jeff with Braver Angels and try to navigate the minefield that might be the family holiday get-together in a deeply partisan divided landscape out there. We're going to take a quick break here on All Day. We'll be right back.
Mixing a little sunshine up through the day today as we do our best to warm up to near a thaw here in the Twin Cities. We'll commit to that in southern Minnesota, but north of town, we're certainly staying frozen today. The coolest of the next several days ahead as we looking and living large. An average high for this time of year would be the middle-ish 20s, but we're not doing too bad for the end of December. We're going to hover near a thaw as we move through the afternoon after a start that stayed in the mid-20s. Again, it wasn't too terribly chilly of a morning, despite the fact that we had a cold front roll on by the area. Behind that front, sunshine, a few thin clouds, sometimes a little more veiled than others as those clouds kind of come and go through the better part of the day. Fairly quiet, though, for most of the holiday itself and for most of the week. Small little cold front coming on by, a little clipper on Thursday evening, so Christmas evening could bring some very light moisture across the area in the form of some light rain or light wintry mix for some very light snow to the north. That could cause some travel hiccups if folks are, again, driving long distances on Christmas evening. Well, more on that in a second. We'll refine that as we get closer to it. And then, again, that except Christmas night issue would be about it. Otherwise, we are going to get cold late in the weekend into Sunday and into early parts of next week. All right, put it together then. Sunshine to partly cloudy at best through the day today. Reinforcing northwest flow keeps temperatures from going anywhere. So we hit the lower 30s toward mid-morning, and that's pretty much where we'll stay for the better part of the day today. We'll cool off to the low 20s overnight tonight, a little cooler, but still above average. Then we'll keep the clouds around that build tonight into the day tomorrow. But with southern flow, we'll be able to pick up mid-30s for tomorrow, around 36 for tomorrow afternoon. So a legitimate thaw, a little chillier up north overall. And then into the day on Christmas Day proper, highs in the upper 30s on Christmas afternoon. As we go on into our Christmas evening on Christmas Day, we have that little light system. This is just giving you a sense of color, so it goes, oh, I remember seeing something. A little snow to the north, a wintry mix or some rain across the area. Don't look at timing, don't look at shape or format. I'm just giving you an ink blot, so it's imprinted. Something, just take that away. Something's happening. We'll refine that as it gets closer. I just wanted you to file that if you're traveling. Otherwise, bright and quiet today, fairly steady temperatures with sun, a few clouds. Temperatures holding pretty much steady in the lower 30s. Tonight, dip into the lower 20s as the clouds return, and then for tomorrow, pretty quiet overall, mostly cloudy to cloudy sky, highs in the middle 30s. Easy going for your Christmas Eve as we go on through the day. As we head on into the 7-day forecast, looking at a high around 38 on Christmas afternoon, with that little chance for some weak precipitation, whatever form it might take, late in the evening or in the early overnight hours. Cloud cover doesn't go anywhere, though. Mostly cloudy sky, a peak of sun on Friday and Saturday, highs in the upper 30s to near 40 on both days. Then that frontal boundary could pop a couple of flakes here and there Saturday night and bring in those colder temperatures. Sunshine and highs only in the teens heading into Sunday and Monday.
Vikings.
Welcome back to All Day on this Tuesday. Looking for a good Christmas gift. Powerball might be a nice one.
That'd be a great one, Rob. $1.7 billion.
Yeah, for the Christmas Eve jackpot. I forgot to buy Powerball tickets yesterday, and now I'm thank goodness that jackpot didn't go out.
Yeah.
1.7 billion estimated. It would currently be predicted as the 4th largest ever Powerball jackpot.
That would be a good chunk of change to have, especially around this time of year. So you are going to buy some tickets?
For sure now, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There were 2 winning tickets in Minnesota last night, according to the Minnesota Lottery. 2 people or 2 buyers won $50,000 prizes in Minnesota.
And that ain't bad either, right?
And Little Falls and Maple Grove.
Casey's at Little Falls. I think I've been to that Casey's at Little Falls.
I think I have too.
On the way up to Cabin Country. Yeah. I think I've been there. So.
You want to know the odds of winning the jackpot?
I know it.
Is it better not to know? It's never tell me the odds, but it's 1 in 292 million.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's
right?
a chance.
Yeah.
You're saying there's a chance.
Yep.
Kansas City Chiefs, Ryan, are actually moving to Kansas.
Yeah. Crazy though. I mean, Arrowhead Stadium has been one of these iconic venues, and now they're moving across state lines and they're getting a fancy new. You know, my beef with this, it's a dome stadium.
Yes.
I know we have one and we love U.S. Bank Stadium and it's great.
We're a lot further north than they are.
Yeah, we're a lot further north and we've always had one, but we're losing these outdoor stadiums. I know the Bears are looking at moving and getting a dome stadium, which seems weird. The Bears, I just seem like they should be outdoors.
Yeah, it's like putting Lambeau indoors.
Exactly.
I mean, it just doesn't have the same feel. And I get it where it's more multi-purpose that way, and you can host a lot of other events, say a Super Bowl.
And that's why they do it. You just nailed it right there. It's to host the Super Bowl. And also there's a comfort level for the fan experience too. I don't go to a lot of pro football games, so, but you know, it is much more desirable to be in a climate-controlled environment in late December.
Yeah, well, it's 57 degrees in Kansas City right now.
Well, see, now that's perfect football weather.
It's fine, but I mean, they're going to get a dome stadium that can host all these other events, and it's a $3 billion stadium. It would have cost $1 billion estimated to renovate, Arrowhead, and so they chose the more expensive, shiny new toy.
Yeah, and I get it. It looks beautiful. It's got the glass roof. Makes you feel like you're outside without being outside, but I don't know. I miss the days of outdoor football. Kudos to Buffalo. They're getting a new stadium next year, and it's outdoors.
Yeah,
so
that'll be cool.
They're staying with it.
Well,
and they have some of the worst elements.
So Missouri's now a 2-time NFL loser. They're losing the Chiefs over to their neighbor Kansas. I mean, it's not far away, but it's going to the other state, and of course the St. Louis Rams.
Yeah. Well, they're not moving too far, so.
No, they're still in the neighborhood. They're just across state lines.
True.
All right, we got to take another break.
Let's do it.
Okay, we'll be right back on Fox 9 All Day. Welcome back. Rob Wilson in for Amy Hockert on this holiday week as she's enjoying some family time here. And, you know, it's like family to me. It's Mr. Jim Rich up there in the beautiful North Country in Duluth, the gateway to all sorts of good things up there. And Jimmy's now inside. This is for the World Juniors as they prepare to kick off play in the Twin Cities on Friday. But a big game tonight, USA versus Finland. Exhibition and a gold medal rematch. And Jimmy, I see you have company this time.
I do have company with me. Joining me now, Adam Kleber, who is a member of Team USA and also a member of the UMD Bulldogs. So you're playing in your own building tonight at Amsoil Arena. What will you be looking to get out of tonight's game?
Yeah, we just had our meeting. Coach talked a lot about just kind of building our footprint and kind of making sure we're using our speed and feeling good before the tournament starts. And didn't play against Germany, so this will be the first game, you know, with this squad. So I'm just kind of looking to get acclimated and just, you know, be playing our best.
All right, now you guys have been here for I think 6-7 days now, and you're the host. You and Max are the host because this is your hometown. So all the players were looking for you.
We went to a couple places to eat. We went to the social house, had some breakfast there with a couple guys that weren't skating, that were out for the Germany game, so that was pretty fun. We got to show the guys our house, so we hung out there for a little bit, but
What level will this be at? The intensity do you feel?
I think there's going to be a lot of intensity. I think it's going to be a packed barn. You know, we played Finland 3 times last year, and we played them in the gold medal game. So, I mean, they're probably going to want, you know, to come after us, but we're going to be ready, and we're excited to play.
Now, the Americans are defending champs, 2-time defending champs. How much pressure does that put on you guys now that you're the hunted versus the hunter?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we try not to look at it like that. Like, our goal is just to win on U.S. soil. Like, that's kind of our main thing, and we don't really try to look at it as three-peating, and we're just kind of hungry to chase. We're not trying to defend. So, I mean, there's a little bit maybe added pressure that it's in your home country, and maybe there's some more distractions. But at the end of the day, you know, you're just focused on one thing, and you're just grateful for the opportunity, and you want to make it memorable.
All right, now you're from Chaska, so obviously you know the Grand Casino Arena very well. What will that atmosphere be like for you?
Yeah, I've never been able to play there before, so I'm excited to just, you know, step onto the ice for the first time, and just hopefully hear a roaring crowd out there.
When you wear this jersey versus your Bulldog jersey, does it change a little bit that you now, usually when you're Bulldog, you're representing northeastern Minnesota and Duluth and Superior, but now you're representing an entire nation? Does it kind of change, or you have a moment where you go like, this is pretty slick to have this on right now?
Yeah, I think a little bit. I think it kind of just gives you a little bit extra armor. You know, you might be going out to block a shot, and you think you're kind of blocking it for your country. So, you know, I think you're a little bit more fearless out there, and so there is a little bit of a difference, I'd say.
And then just being with so many different players. I know you guys spent some time together this summer when you played at Ritter Arena in the World Junior Summer Showcase. How quickly can you put a team together that has to play at 1,000%, right? There's no time to really get your legs under you.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest points of emphasis we had to start. Not necessarily building, you know, the on-ice chemistry at the start, but focusing on the off-ice and making sure everyone feels, you know, like brothers, and we feel like one big family, and everyone feels included. That's kind of the big point of emphasis we tried to, you know, to create at the start. So we feel like we got a really good team off the ice, and now it's just time to go prove it on the ice.
All right, now lastly, we got to talk about Christmas is coming up in a couple of days. Did you get everything squared away before you were gone on this extended trip here with the team?
Not yet. I'm gonna have to gonna have to see what my parents got me after this tournament. So we'll see.
How about your shopping, though? Did you get it all done, or are you going to say, "Oh, I got it all done"? But I'm with the team right now.
No, not yet. I got my Secret Santa gift for one of my teammates at Duluth so far, but might have to do some more shopping.
All right, tonight he and Team USA will take on Finland. It'll be on our second channel, Fox 9 Plus. It'll also be televised here in Minnesota, and USA Hockey.tv streams it nationwide. So it should be a lot of fun. Getting to wear that jersey here on your home sheet of ice has got to be another one of the big milestone moments that you're hitting during this trip.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited. Just kind of watching that Germany game and seeing all the goals scored. A little bummed I wasn't able to be out there, so hopefully we can hear Freebird a lot tonight and just, have a fun night.
All right, Rob, Freebird is their goal song. That's where that comes from.
I think that's great.
That's the story here. It's very quiet here now. We're at the Holiday Mall. They just had their team meal. What'd you guys have?
It's pasta and I haven't ate yet, so I don't know what it is yet. But I saw pasta and probably some chicken, all that.
Perfect. All right, we got to let him get his meal.
No, you just wanted to know to see if there's any extra, right? You're like, somebody else here is hungry.
I'm invited to lunch too, right?
If you want, I guess. I don't know.
That's a victory in Jim Rich's book.
Lunch here too.
That sounds good. Well, I'm sure a lot of Christmas gifts can be had here too, as well. If he's got to get more shopping done with a lot of, World Juniors logos on them, right?
Exactly. Well, you have a lot of Team USA gear. You can wrap it up afterwards and give it to your family.
Yeah, I know some of my teammates have been asking for some USA gear. You got to save some stuff, so I'll probably have to do that after, yeah.
See, you're thinking, Rob. Yeah. The team is already ahead of you. They've already started dividing it up and hitting up Stan for some extra stuff, saying, this shirt's a little worn. Yeah. I think I could use another one, Stan.
Yeah. No, I got a lot of USA stuff. It'd probably be a good idea to share some with some of my teammates back at Duluth.
There
you go. Mm-hmm. He's getting all his holiday shopping done.
That's efficient.
We appreciate your help. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So tonight, 6 o'clock, Fox 9 Plus. You get to watch him, and he and his teammates are taking on Team Finland.
Yeah.
So we'll see you at 6.
It'll be a good game. Thanks, Jimmy. Have fun up there. I know you'll love it. And enjoy lunch. Free. All right.
Yes. I'll get at it.
The best kind.
All right, let's go to lunch.
All right. There we go. We'll be right back here on Fox 9 All Day. And welcome back to Fox 9 All Day. Again, Rob Olson sitting in for Amy Hockert with some holiday time off. You know, something special really happened here at Fox 9 this year, as it does every year. A whole bunch of holiday cards that we got in order to send some back to you. So here's another edition of our anchors reading some of those cards. See you tomorrow.
Okay, it's time to open some. Oh, you're going to stab me with that?
I feel like we just did this.
Oh, my God. I know.
Are we doing it again?
We're opening more holiday cards from people all across the country because the Jason Show is all over now. We have one from Alabama coming up, and we have this pile. This is the, what are we calling it?
Arizona. Oh, this is the unclaimed mail pile?
Unclaimed, we don't know. We haven't tested these. These we've already opened.
You want me to start with one?
Let's start with a, woo, let's get frisky right away.
I just wanted to use the letter opener.
Will you be careful with that?
Can I steal this?
No, it's Fox property. Look, there's a picture of Bart Simpson on the back of it. What?
Oh, it's like rockers of the 80s.
Oh, look at that. Death metal.
No, it's not.
Oh, I don't know. I don't watch.
Vince Neil.
Oh, I don't listen to heavy metal. I don't know. Who is that?
I think it's, there's Tommy Lee.
It's Motley Crue? Thank you.
Yeah, right? Vince Neil, Motley Crue. Name one Motley Crue song.
Don't.
Don't cry out loud.
Don't. Sweet. Home Sweet Home. Home Sweet Home. Would you like me to sing it?
Kickstart my heart.
Kickstart my heart.
Kickstart my heart, because it never stops. All right.
This is why you're single.
Here's a pic of my sister and brother-in-law and niece. Hopefully you'll give a shout out to Melissa, Donnie, and Lucia.
Donnie and Marie?
Oh, look at they're at the state fair.
Look at that. I have never, so this is Motley Crue, Sean?
You're like the fifth member of Motley Crue.
I know, look at that.
What, did they have a French horn in Motley Crue?
I don't know.
That's what Jason
I like their hair. Yeah. Did you ever have long hair?
No.
Oh.
I've had the same hairstyle since 4th grade.
Hot. Okay, should I do one?
By the way, they're from Arizona. She hopes to come a week and visit in the winter.
She should. Come on down. Don't come in the winter. Oh my God. Come someplace, some other time. You ready? Okay, so this one, our boss, Marion Mim, Davey Kessler, Carrington Colby, Rodham, Parker, Sarah Jessica, had very strict instructions that when we do this, she wants us to show the card for a prolonged period of time. Right there.
Don't make it creepy. Just.
So the reindeer is in the little outhouse.
Outhouse?
Outhouse. And
why do people call them Biffies? Is that like a
brand?
brand?
It's a brand of the company.
Like when I ask for a Kleenex or a tissue, it's Biffy.
Or if I'm going to make a copy with a Xerox. Yeah.
Okay. You're like Jane Fonda, 9 to 5. I'm Xerox.
Well,
how old are you?
Well, whatever. You mentioned Kleenex. You have a handkerchief in there?
Do you remember those old women in church who would stuff the handkerchief or Kleenex in their watch?
No, I don't go to church. They don't let me in. They don't let me in.
We can tell.
Yeah. No, but I remember the old women that used to come into Red Lobster, and they used to ask me, "Can I get some extra napkins?" And I would bring them extra napkins, and then they'd go like this, and then they would shove the biscuits in there and put it. I'm like, "Lady, you can take."
Weren't they free?
They were free. I'm like, "Mildred, I don't care how many you take." Yeah. Anyway, okay, back to the card.
It's not like you earned a wage.
No, I don't care.
Biscuits there were
so the reindeer is in the turlet, and then the card goes, "Would you hurry up? We're late." Santa's been having trouble with his newest reindeer.
Don't think we can read that one.
We can't. I just read it. Are they going to bleep this?
Well, we did say Shih Tzu before.
That's a dog. But anyway, it says Jason Fallon and Game. Merry Christmas and happy 2026, Laura.
Steve.
Oh, it's Steve. And Zupa. That's a Supit Olive Bird, too. Zupa Staccato.
Zupa Toscano?
John Staccato.
Remember what happened to him?
I think he's opening boat shows now. We thought you would get a chuckle from this card. We enjoy the positivity and non-political nature of your show. Thank you for making us laugh. Thank you, Zupa Staccato, and Laura and Steve there. Okay, your turn.
All right, this one, Merry Christmas with glitter of sand on the beach.
Oh, God, this coffee here at Jimmy's is really good.
For all your coffee needs.
Come to Jimmy's in Eden Prairie. Oh, we're here at Jimmy's in Minnetonka.
This one says Merry Christmas on the beach. Let's see, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from the balmy Vero Beach, Florida. Is that how you say it?
Vero Beach, yeah.
Vero
Beach, Vero Beach, thank you.
Would love to see you do a taping in Orlando.
Well, I'm probably at some point in the winter I will be there live. My little 3-day weekend.
You might want to tell me.
Well, I'll tell you when I plan it. Don't you worry about it right now.
This is from Helene.
I like the name Helene.
Can we stay at her house when we go?
Yeah, Helene, can we stay with you? We're really good house guests.
The bosses would probably like that we wouldn't submit a request for a hotel.
Submit a request? Are you kidding me? They'd have us stay at a hostel. Okay. Let's see here.
Have you ever stayed at a hostel?
No. They scare me. Ever since I saw that horror movie called Hostel, I'm never saying one, yeah. Let's do this one. It's a little raccoon. Look at this.
We love a raccoon.
Raccoon around the it's a song. Raccoon.
Is he holding a beer?
Oh, and she put a collar on him, Rascal. Like Fallon's
raccoon.
Yeah. And he's drinking cold turkey.
Wild turkey.
Wild turkey, not cold turkey.
Cold turkey means you stop something. Wild turkey is like a whiskey, I believe.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, and then there's some Jack right there. Anyway, this raccoon is
wild turkey, cold turkey,
same thing. Raccoon around the Christmas tree. Thank you to the Jason Show team for our daily dose of joy. Merry Christmas, Marty and John from Embarrass, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Where's Embarrass?
It's near Babbitt.
That means nothing to me. Where's
Way
Babbitt?
north, because Babbitt and Barris they're a paired school.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thanks for that. Okay, your turn.
All right. This is Santa and a lot of puppies. This is Jason at home when he's with his dog.
Right, well, that's yeah. And my cheeks are that red after a long weekend.
Except you don't have any kitty cats.
No, I'm not a big cat person.
I'm allergic.
I just don't like them. Yeah.
This is a long poem.
Oh, Lord.
We'll just read the message.
Yeah,
it's from Karen. Karen from Hastings. I've just started watching your show, and now I'm hooked on it. It has a little bit of everything in it. My favorite is the fast food field trips. Jason and Fallon are a good match. Just love it. Keep up the good work.
Let me check this out, though. She did right. Let's see what's going on with her life, though.
No, that's a poem
that's
that was
the night. I thought it was like a life letter. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, it's just 'twas night before Christmas.
Yeah.
And went all through the house. Should I read it like Hannibal Lecter?
Oh, don't.
'Twas the night before Christmas. Went all through the house. Not a creature
People
was
are
stirring.
watching this on Christmas. They don't want Hannibal Lecter.
Not even a mouse. The stockings were hung with the chimney with care, in the hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. Clarice. Okay, next.
All right, kids, Santa's coming.
Yeah, well,
your turn.
Yeah. Let's do this one. Merry Christmas to somebody who does a lot of hearts good. From somebody with a heart that's grateful for you.
Aww.
Oh, that's one of the sweetest. This is from Linda Radke. In this crazy world today, I could always count on the Jason Show to bring me joy.
Oh.
That's lovely. Okay, your turn. Oh, yeah, we got to put that over there.
Organizing.
Yeah, I know.
Look at this. It looks homemade.
That's a lot of effort right there.
Is it poinsettia or poinsettia?
Poinsettia.
I don't like that.
I don't know. What do you want me to call it?
Call the flower committee. It should be poinsettia. That's
Okay.
too many vowels.
I don't like them anyway. Do you know you can't have... dogs can't eat them. They're deadly to dogs.
How about humans?
We can't eat them either.
P.S. I made this card, and she loves the Before the Show show.
Which you can watch on Facebook at 10/9 Central and Mountain.
Okay, this is from June. Merry Christmas, Jason Show team. Thanks for all the laughs and joy. You guys are the best. I try to never miss a show, even when I was in Iceland.
Oh, my God.
Your loyal viewer since before the beard and the old logo.
Oh. I look like a russert.
She's pre-beard.
She's pre-beard, yeah. What was her name?
June.
Do you know June Lockhart just died? And she from Lassie and Lost in Space.
Do you want to keep bringing the party down?
Well, no, but I'm saying she lived to be like 150.
I don't think she was that old.
Well, she was over 100.
I never liked Lost in Space.
Did you like Lassie?
I didn't
a Nickelodeon?
like that robot.
Oh, I loved. I wanted to be that robot.
What was the name?
Robot.
No, what was his name?
Robot.
Literally Robot?
Robot. For the third time, Robot.
The writers could have come up with a better name than Robot?
Well, it was Robot. But anyway, but June Lockhart was
The Jetsons had Rosie.
I can't come back from that. How many more do you want us to read? Two more? Okay. 2 words about getting you what you really want for Christmas. Fat chance. Yeah, oh wow. So this is Happy Holidays from Karen in Austin, Texas.
Oh.
I want to wish you all, yes, I'm from Texas, a very happy holiday season. Y'all make my day. I laugh at every show and look forward to it. Your guests are great and can't get enough of your fast food field trips. I even like Jeff. I added that last part. Yeah, I added that last part.
We need to go to Austin.
We do. Yeah.
I have never been there.
What's your name?
I want good barbecue.
Karen, can we stay with you? Because our company won't put us up at a hotel. Let's do one more. It's your Jeff's choice.
Let's
get the one with what's the little animal on that?
I've seen this one before.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, this one has an R2-D2 stamp.
Oh, let's open that bad boy.
It is from Laura in Lonsdale.
Cut that open. No, you have to stick it in there.
Who came up with the letter opener?
The Countess Dowager uses this a lot in Downton Abbey.
You're about that age. You should just know
I know.
that. I licked the envelope. Merry Christmas. Oh, look at the dog.
Look at that. It looks like a pit bull mix of some kind of.
Alan and Laura and Bella the dog.
I love human names for dogs. Like George. Like when a dog's named George or a cat's Helen.
What are your dogs?
Elliot and Milo. If I was gonna have a kid,
those are human names.
Well, if I was gonna have a kid, I was gonna name it Milo, but I didn't, so I named my dog. On that lovely story, happy holidays from all of us at the Jason Show. May you not fight and enjoy your noodle salad.
Oh, I love noodles.
Unless it has cheese in it.